Hello, in this tutorial, polygons will be copied from one layer to a new layer. The polygons on the new layer will have their surface normals flipped so that the opposite face of the polygon becomes the visible face. Now, this object will only consist of one layer that has a texture applied to it. The texture can be a straight RGB texture, an RGB texture with an alpha mask, or an RGBNA texture with the alpha channel included in the file, which is what we have here. Now I'm just going to click the left mouse button and rotate, and we can see that we've got two sides on the object. By default, AccuTrans does double-sided rendering and lights both sides of the faces. Now we have controls up here under Viewer which affect the camera. We have camera controls and display controls. Now we also can, going down to the bottom, we also have buttons which do all the same features. So I have this button that says that we're lighting both sides, so I'll hit it. It's a toggle one, and it goes to light one side, and we turn and we see that the invisible face of the polygons is being rendered in black. Now I'll go down to, we're on render both sides. I'll click this button and it goes to render one side and our object disappears. I'll rotate with the camera and here's our object. I'll do front to center it nice. So now if you don't see this effect happening and your image stays on both sides, that means that double side is set on the layer. So I could use the layers, adjust lights and materials to open the dialog box, click on layers, and since we only have one layer, it's already selected, and we would then uncheck double-sided. As it's unchecked, this is exactly what we want. So I'll click OK to close that down. Now, to copy the polygons to a new layer, I'll go to the Tools 1 menu, go down to Triangle Copy, and now we have all the triangles lit in green, but we can't see our texture. So I'll go down and click on this toggle button and our texture appears. I will now click and hold down the mouse button and draw a lasso around our image. Releasing it, all our buttons, the triangles turn red, showing that they're selected. If we have triangles that we don't want to be red, we just have to click on them and they will turn off. And if we had a spot on the model where we wanted to turn a triangle on, we would just click and they would turn on. So we'll say that's this is good enough for what we want, and so I'll do copy new layer. Now rendering occurs in the order that you see the names appearing in this list. So I'm going to call this new layer V1, so it gets will be rendered after the first layer, and then press the enter key, and we now have two layers. If I turn off the original layer, you can see there's our new layer. So I'll hit OK, click this button to turn all the layers on, and now rotate the object, and you can see that, oh, it's visible, nothing there. So I'll come back and we're okay. So now what we want to do is flip the triangle. So I'll go down, I could either go to Align and do Flip Polygon Start Stop, or I could have just pressed this toggle button. Now you can see that all our faces are white, as indicating that we're looking at the visible side of the polygons. Now I can't rotate with the mouse here. You can just see that I'm drawing a path. So inside this module I have to go down and click on this scroll button, and now I can rotate, and I can see that the back faces, or the invisible faces, are in red and our visible ones are in white. And if I turn off the original layer, here's our other layer. It's not selected and it's showing up in yellow. Now if I go down here and click on from show one to show all, now our layer is showing up in white and red. Now to flip the triangles, all I have to do is click on the layer, and now we've got the opposite effect of what we had before. And if I turn on this layer, you can see again, due to the rendering, I can't see what's happening. But I know I flipped the polygon, so I'll turn off the Align Surface Normals module, and now we look around, and there is our two faces. Now I'll click on the back, so I know I'm looking at the back side. I'll click on here to open the lights and layers. I'll just right click and it will select this layer, and it says we're on layer V1. And what I'll do is I'll click on the browse button, and I'll go in and I'll select a new RGBA texture for the back faces. Click that, click OK, and there our object changed. And if I rotate, you can see that I have two different faces. And that's all you have to do to get two sets of triangles occupying the same space, with one image displayed on one of the faces and another image displayed on the other faces. That's it for this tutorial. Goodbye.